I had him. The merchant, I had him, and I would have been fine if I didn't bring Alvaro along. I swear it is all his fault. Okay, picture this. Everything went perfectly according to plan. The merchant got there just after dawn. Alvaro and I trailed behind him, following as he went around his cart. It was a perfect opportunity. I went up behind him and raised the pistol to his head. The man put his hands up, and Alvaro went around and started speaking to him. In Spanish, of course. So I didn't understand, but I assume he was asking for the ring. But then they started arguing. And what I was able to make out was that I think Alvaro began asking for his cart. He wanted more than just the ring. But he knew we were only there for the ring, so why he was asking for the buggy, I don't know. Then he started shouting at me to shoot the man. I can't shoot the man. Why would I want to shoot the man? I still need him to tell me how he got the ring, where he saw one of my brothers. Was it Henry? Was it George? What did they look like? Why did he have the ring? And that is the last thing I remember before I woke up in a house tied to a chair. My head was throbbing, and I could feel a wound on my arm opening, and the merchant was standing in front of me with two men. Now, it took my eyes a second, but I could make out one of them being Alvaro, tied to what I assume was a support beam for the house. They were speaking. I understood one word, which was the ring. I tried to make noise. I tried to speak, but they had used the bandana that I was wearing to prohibit me. They had tied the knot so tightly in the back that it started to irritate what I now know to be a gash by whatever and whoever struck me in the back of the head. I could understand the shapes around me, though, but the details are all fuzzy. One thing I could not mistake was the shape of a gun. The feeling of the cold metal pressed up against your chin. The merchant began interrogating me now. I looked to Alvaro to translate, but he just shook his head, refusing. I think the man who was with the merchant got irritated with him because he began beating on him, and next thing you know, Alvaro was slumped over. The merchant was saying the same thing over and over again, repeating his questions, but I obviously couldn't understand him, and I don't really know what he expected. Even if I could understand him, I wouldn't be able to answer with a bandana in my mouth. So I just closed my eyes, ready for the end to take me. It couldn't be painful, right? Nice and quick. If I tuned the blurry fat man out, I swear I could hear them calling my name. Everyone I loved. The ones waiting for me to join them. I could hear their voices howling on the wind. But the fat man removed the gun from my chin. He spoke with his man for a moment, leaving me alone with Alvaro in the room. I muffled, trying to wake him back up, but he didn't move. If I couldn't make out his stomach going up and down, I would have assumed he was gone. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'd expect myself to be crying too, but I wasn't. In a twisted way, I felt more connected to the ones I've lost than I ever have. I felt like Ruben was there, waiting to catch my soul as it was flung from my body. At this point, my eyes began to focus. I'm not quite sure how much time had gone by while I was sitting there. It didn't feel like long, but I don't know how much of it was clouded over by my daydreaming. I felt like I had been shocked out of a dream. You know, that feeling when you fall back into your body. Once I had heard the merchant speaking again, only this time in the other room. He spoke with his man first, and then I heard a familiar voice. Wayne was with them, or confronting them. It was hard to tell if it was a conversation or an argument. Probably both. It didn't take long for the merchant to walk him into the room. Wayne didn't look surprised, though I guess he would know why he was there by now, so why should he be? The merchant said something to him, pointed to Alvaro, then the ring. Then he motioned in what I can only assume had to do with the cart. That's when Wayne shot a quick but disappointed glance my way. I don't know why, but I began to laugh. I don't think the merchant liked that very much, me finding the whole thing very funny, so he unholstered his gun again and waved it in my face. He only got a few words out before I was covered in his blood. Wayne had taken that opportunity to slit his throat. He left the room only for a moment, returning covered in some blood himself. Wayne cut my binds and stared at his flat cap that was on the ground. I removed the bandana from my mouth but couldn't get a word in before he started. There's quite a bit of, "What the fuck were you thinking?" I didn't really know how to respond. Where to begin? Wayne took his hat, placing it in his back pocket, and motioned towards Alvaro, finally letting me speak. I told him that he was just trying to help me get my ring back, but Wayne wanted to know what the ring had to do with his wagon. I told him truthfully, I don't know. I'm confused why he'd be so angry over a cart of fruit. I tried to help Alvaro by saying he was just a foolish man who wanted to help me and probably wanted something for himself in the deal. It was evident that Wayne had stopped listening to me at this point. He slapped Alvaro's face a couple times to wake him up and specifically spoke to him in Spanish so that I couldn't understand. Alvaro seemed more stressed talking to Wayne than he did. The guy who knocked him out. I tried to interject, told him I was the one who brought him into this, and he really didn't he didn't know anything. Wayne told me to shut it. I assume he got what he wanted from Alvaro, because when he did speak English again, he said something along the lines of picking his battles more carefully in the next one. That's when he took Alvaro's life too. I watched his body slump once again, and as it fell, Wayne told me I did this. I gave him no reaction. Maybe the pain in my head stopped me from being angry in the moment, but looking back on it, I was pretty fucked. I'm now hiding out in a room. I've been looked at by someone Wayne knows. He didn't clarify if the man was a doctor, but he patched me up well enough. I know I'm gonna have to talk to him again soon. Have to explain it all again. But I think I'm just gonna hide for now. Though, maybe it'll be easier to face him while I'm still in pain. He can't yell at me while I'm injured, right? Oh, I'd kill for a smoke right now.